The village teacher. In Kukuna village, where the roofs, where the sun set like a crown, and the dust holds the memory of many steps, there lives a teacher not found in a school building, but in the rhythm of a market day, in the hush of a palm-shaded lane, in the stubborn sigh of the river that refuses to hurry. He is known as the village teacher, though his name, Bala, is whispered by neighbors who fear that naming him fully might set a storm of questions loose. He is tall in a way that makes the horizon lean toward him, and his eyes hold the calm of a well that has learned to drink both rain and sun. He wakes before the rooster knows his own shadow. The day begins with a market chorus. A goat bleats a tune, a tailor's needle clinks. A girl with bright beads counts pennies as if counting stars. The village is a living book, each face a page turned by wind, each laugh a marginal note, each cough a page break in a story that refuses to end. And in this book, the village teacher appears as a page turn toward the reader, inviting you to lean in closer, to smell the earth, to listen until the words become weather and you become weathered by wisdom. He moves toward the market, his feet whispering on the packed earth, and the village itself seems to exhale a breath of expectancy. His destination is a clearing where a tree stands, a name of which the old people swear was planted by ancestors who forgot to ask for shade but got it anyway. The tree is gnarled and kind, its roots like a network of rivers hidden beneath a sleeping village. If you press your ear to the trunk in the early morning, you will hear the village breathing. A soft exhale of prayers, a loud inhale of jokes, a rustle of leaves that sounds like old men and old women trading stories as if they were trading seeds. The village teacher arrives and rests against the tree, closing his eyes, letting the stories of 1,000 seasons weave themselves into his skin. When he opens his eyes, the villagers begin to arrive. At first, it is a trickle, tentative as a bird testing a new branch, but soon the trickle becomes a stream, then a torrent of humanity. The children come with shoes that squeak on the bare earth. The elders come with stories that carry the salt of years. The parents come with half smiles and the full weight of worry and hope. He does not stop them, but welcomes them all with the same smile, the same quiet dignity. The first thing he does is not lecture, but listen. He sits in a carved wooden stool, a thing of carved patience, and invites the people to speak. They come bearing questions wrapped in silences, hopes disguised as casual remarks, worries veiled in jokes. And he listens. He lets them speak until the words find their own rhythm, until the unspoken finds purchase in the spoken. When they finish, when the last hesitant word hangs in the air, he begins to teach. And his teaching is not a lecture, but a conversation, a back and forth between the wisdom of his years and the hungers in the eyes of the villagers. Learning, he begins, and the words fall like ripe fruit into the dust, is a trade we practice daily, with both hands and both ears. He looks at a boy who has brought a phone to the gathering, a little instrument of blinking light, and he does not sneer at it, but asks a question that makes the device appear as if it itself were listening. Tell me, little one, what is the price of attention in this market of miracles? The boy hesitates, then answers with a shrug and a shrug of humility. I guess attention costs a lot, sir, but I want to be rich in knowledge, not in notifications. The village teacher nods, pleased by the honesty, and turns to the crowd with a storyteller. Smile, that means. You will hear the truth in a dozen ways. If you have the patience to listen in a dozen accents. He tells a tale of a maize seed and a rain cloud, two siblings who could not bear the other's company until they learned that sun and rain must dance together to bear fruit. The children giggle, for the seed's stubbornness is a joke that never tires. The seed says, I am small and mighty, and the rain responds with a hiss of mist and a blessing. Small is not weakness, it is the harbor for great storms. A proverb slides into the air as if someone had dropped a seed with a sprout already budding in the soil. When a frog sits on a log, it must decide whether to leap or to listen. The heart learns its language by listening first. The crowd nods, because they know this one. Abila bet it, and the rhythm of it makes their feet want to move in a secret dance. The village teacher speaks again, his voice now carrying a note of humor that keeps the air buoyant, even when gravity-heavy topics arrive. He speaks of the old ways and the new ways, not as enemies, but as partners in the dance of life. Consider the jungle drum, he says. If you strike it with a single pace, it bleeds fear into the village. If you listen, if you learn its tempo, you can ride the beat to harvest, to heal, to hope. A child steps forward with a brittle pencil and a notebook, offering a drawing of a drum and a smartphone entwined in vines. The crowd oozes softly, surprised by the image's strange beauty. The old and the new wearing each other like proper attire at a wedding. The day unfurls with dialogues that feel like prayers in motion. The village teacher asks questions that are at once gentle and cutting. What is wisdom, if not the art of asking the right questions with a smile that refuses to break the heart? What is progress, if not the ability to carry the old story forward? So that the young walk with the footprint of memory on their shoes, two elderly women speak in tandem, their voices like weaving palms. Our children fly on wings of neon, but their feet must learn the soils. Smell the earth remembers every step, every fall, every rise. We elders carry the basket of memory. When you reach for the fruit, we have already peeled the truth with care, so you do not bite bitter knowledge. A boy and a girl, siblings in a chorus, recite a proverb in unison, their voices rising and falling with the cadence of a river that splits and rejoins. A child who forgets his root will grow a tree that bears fruit for strangers. The village teacher pauses as if to let the wind do the math. Then he tells a longer fable, a parable about a farmer and a clever raven. The raven steals a seed, and the farmer, rather than curse the thief, teaches the raven to plant and harvest in exchange for wisdom. The raven learns that sharing is not weakness, but strength. That to hoard knowledge is to starve the soil of its best future. The laughter erupts, because humor is the mortars that holds the bricks of memory together. It seals the cracks with warmth so the walls do not crumble under pressure. Let us talk of adages as living beings. The village teacher continues, and his eyes travel across the crowd as if he sees the future wearing the same clothes as the past. A proverb is not a tombstone. It is a bridge. It is not a sentence, but a doorway through which we pass together. If you stand at the threshold and refuse to pass through, you will become a statue in a garden of becoming. A child raises a hand and asks, with the unguarded candor of a bright star, "Grand teacher, can you tell us how to be brave in a world that hums with screens and noise?" The question lands like a seed in damp soil, and the village teacher smiles, then leans closer, as if sharing an inner secret with the moon. "To be brave," he whispers, "you must learn the language of the night. Look at the moon. She weathers every sunrise without an ounce of fear, yet she is the first to welcome the dawn. This is bravery, to embrace the dark without flinching and to greet the light without hesitation. You see, child, the universe speaks in opposites. Fear and courage dance together. Weakness and strength are woven into the same cloth. It is in the spaces between these opposites where true bravery resides." He pauses, letting the words settle in the expectant silence. So when the world feels too loud with its screens and its noise, seek solace in the quiet corners of your heart. Listen to the rhythm of your breath, for it is the heartbeat of courage. When you can be still in the midst of chaos, you have found your bravery. It is not the absence of fear, but the presence of something far greater. It is the quiet knowing that you are a part of a much bigger story. A story that has braved countless dawns and will endure long after our voices are hushed. Your bravery is woven into the fabric of time. Little one, nurture it, let it grow, for it is the light that will guide you through the darkest nights and the brightest days. As the sun begins its descent, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, the gathering slowly disperses. The villagers, their faces etched with wisdom and their hearts brimming with newfound courage, return to their homes, carrying with them the echoes of the village teacher's words. The day ends, as it began, with a symphony of sounds. The rhythmic clack of the weaver's shuttle, the lowing of cattle returning home, the murmur of families and somewhere in the heart of it all, the village teacher, Bala, the man who taught them how to be brave, settles against his ancient tree, ready to listen to the secrets the night whispers on the wind. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more.